Hello and welcome to this FPL Gameweek 11 preview with me, Holly Shand. In today's video, I'm going to be going through the transfer deal sheet for Gameweek 11 before looking at my differentials and team of the week and finishing with my top replacement for Luis Diaz, who is out until after the World Cup. If you're new around here, hit that like button. Let's help me to get to 500 likes on this video. I'm closing in on 15,000 subscribers now as well, so all of your support will be really appreciated. Let's get into it. Starting off with the deal sheet then for FPL Game 11 preview, and I'm going to go from front to back, starting with the forward line. And on my buy list, I've got West Ham's Scamacca, who really impressed me with his performance in Game Week 10. He was top for shots and shots in the box in that game, as well as being ahead on terms of non-penalty XG with 1.36. It was a little bit of a worry that he could share game time with Antonio, but I think given that performance, he's certainly going to be first choice in David Moyes' side. And West Ham's fixtures look very good as well over the next period. They've got Southampton and Bournemouth in their next 3 games, and I don't think we need to worry about Liverpool away in Game Week 12, especially with Trent and Matip both injured in the heart of that defence. On my sell list for Game Week 11 is Chelsea's Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Granted, he's managed to deliver goals in most of the games he's started this season, but the concern is that Potter roulette is going to be even worse than Pep roulette, and it's just too difficult to have a forward in our side at 9 million who we've got no idea whether they're going to start week in, week out. So for me right now, I'm avoiding Chelsea's attack because there's too many options and too much uncertainty in there when you've got reliable options elsewhere that you know are going to be playing 90 minutes week in, week out. On the monitor list, I've got Spurs asset Harry Kane. All eyes on the Champions League team sheet midweek to see his availability, but certainly if he looks like he's going to be fit for Game Week 12, we need to keep hold of him because he's been in sensational form all season. I know his performances have somewhat been eclipsed by Haaland, but any other season with 8 goals, 2 assists, he's blanked on just one occasion back in Game Week 1. That's incredible consistency. And right now, if you are looking for 2 premiums, I think Haaland and Kane could be the way to go. And certainly Spurs' fixture, Everton at home this weekend, makes him a really attractive asset. So keep faith with Kane if you have him, and keep an eye on him as well if you are shopping for a new forward. Moving on to midfielders now, and Phil Foden is top of the buy list. He is absolutely central right now to everything that Manchester City are doing, and it's nice to see that link-up play with Haaland coming to the fore. He's now the highest scoring midfielder in the game with 5 goals and 1 assist in his last 3, and the fact that he started every single game from Manchester City is really important as well. Now, one little bit of concern is some team news from Pep Guardiola, who alluded to the fact that Foden was omitted from the matchday squad in the Champions League because of some sort of issue, but maybe that was Pep just trying to justify not playing the likes of Foden and Haaland and then not getting the result. But in terms of the thing to consider in terms of Pep's words, he said yesterday was not good, today a little better, but not perfect, so we decided not to take the risk. That was on Haaland. And then on Foden, he said Phil has problems. Obviously, we saw him substituted around the 59-minute mark in Game Week 10. But if there's any chance that he's going to be available for Game Week 11, we need to buy him. We can ignore the fact that there's a blank in Game Week 12. Right now, in terms of midfielders, Foden is the way to go. And he is a good replacement for Luis Diaz at Liverpool, who we now know is going to be out up until after the World Cup break with an injury, which is a shame because he was quite a good asset for us in FPL. I know he disappointed in recent games, but Game Week 12 he could have been really useful for us. Getting to the point where we need every single man available in our squads, and then that happens, and then we're now scrambling for options. Captaincy looks really thin on the ground again for Game Week 12 now that he's sustained that knee injury. And on the monitor list, I've got Mo Salah. I guess owners of Salah will still be wanting to sell. He's the 3rd most sold this week behind Diaz and Trent. He's still in about 26% of teams though, and I think given the injury issues that are cropping up elsewhere, I think if you own Salah, he's probably not your biggest issue right now. So you may as well keep hold of him and hope for the best for game week 12, West Ham at home. At least given Liverpool's injury concerns right now, you can be fairly certain that he's going to start that midweek game. It looks like blank game week 12 could be a really difficult one to navigate given these injuries, given the fact that we've not got any Manchester City and Arsenal assets. We know midweek fixtures are not easy anyway in FPL with rotation. This one's going to be even tougher. So I think you ride it out with Salah and hope that he can deliver you something in the next period of 2 or 3 games. Moving on to defenders then, and if you've already seen my deal sheet posted on Twitter or Instagram at HollyShand, you will notice a difference here because Reece James has picked up an injury in the Champions League this midweek. So he was on the buy list, he's now over on the monitor list. He's a player that we'd like to keep hold of because of Chelsea's great fixtures coming up, the fact that they're looking solid for clean sheets under Graham Potter as well, 2 clean sheets on the bounce now. So for me, I think you need to try and find a way to keep hold of Reece James if there's any possibility that he can come back in for game week 11 or game week 12 because of what he can offer us. On the buy list this week though, I've got Kieran Trippier. I've seen a lot of managers maybe thinking about benching him this weekend with the Manchester United fixture. I'd absolutely advise you not to do that. Newcastle United are a team in form. They're a team that are very solid defensively under Eddie Howe. 3 clean sheets in 9 this season. But it's the attacking output from Trippier which makes him such a fantastic option. He's had more successful crosses this season than any other player with 32. Second to him is Trent with 21. He is the player that's taken the most corners this season with 46. The player in second place is James Ward-Prowse with 36, a full 10 corners behind. So that just shows you his route to points, and he has scored 3 direct free kicks this calendar year. You play Trippier expecting attacking returns. Clean sheets are a bonus, and obviously when one of those 2 things happen, it's very likely that he's in the bonus points as well. So it's 7, 8, 9 points every single week, which makes him a fantastic option. He has increased in price again. He's now up to 5.6 million. He's in over 50% of teams, but still, if you don't own him now, could be the week to buy him, especially if you are an owner of Trent Alexander-Arnold, who has been ruled out for 2 to 3 weeks. I think it's kind of done his owners a favour because they maybe were umming and ahhing over whether to hold him or sell him, with game week 12 in mind as well. His ownership's now dipped under 25%, and it's certainly going to be time to jump off him because we need all of our players fit and available for blank game week 12 while we try and hold our Man City and Arsenal assets on our benches that we've got team value wrapped up in. So if you are a Trent owner, if you don't own Trippier, then he's the one to go for this week. Moving on to goalkeepers then, and the buy list. I've gone for Jose Sarr here. It's a little bit difficult really trying to pinpoint which goalkeepers are worth buying at the moment, but even though Wolves have had a shaky start to the season, Sarr is still the second highest delivering goalkeeper in the game. He's kept 3 clean sheets, he's saved a penalty, he's made 28 saves, he's mopped up 3 bonus points as well. And the thing that makes him attractive is Wolves' upcoming fixtures. Forest, Crystal Palace, Leicester, Brentford, Brighton is the next 5. I can see plenty of potential for clean sheets, and Wolves need to be very good defensively because their attack is really struggling this season. So for me, I think he could be a wise investment over the coming weeks. And if you are on a goalkeeper from one of the teams that blank in game week 12, either Edison or Ramsdale, now could be the chance to jump off. Edison is on my sell list purely because there's at least 4 or 5 other Man City players that I would prefer to own ahead of Edison right now, because even though we're getting clean sheets from Manchester City, there's so many attacking returns going on with the likes of Haaland, Foden, De Bruyne, Cancelo and more. So for me, Edison is a bit of a waste of a Man City spot. Now, on the monitor list is Kepa. As I mentioned already, Chelsea's fixtures look great. We've seen some consistency now with clean sheets. If he is going to be a regular starter, he could be an absolute gem this season. Lots of managers will be looking to get on him at the World Cup with unlimited transfers. Right now, transfers are precious, so I don't recommend you making a goalkeeper transfer this week unless you need to get funds from a different points. 4.4 million makes him very attractive for that reason. But certainly once we've got game week 12 out of the way in the blank, looking to bring him on board between 13 and 16 could get you ahead of those managers bringing them in with unlimited transfers in the World Cup break. He's going to rise in value over the time. We just need to be absolutely certain that he has got that number one shirt nailed down in Graham Potter's defence. Moving on to differentials now, and I've picked out a player in each position with a good fixture in game week 11 and certainly lots of promise going forward. Mark Gay is in just 2% of teams at the moment. The Crystal Palace defender is certainly certain of starts in the upcoming games. He's not missed a minute of action so far for Crystal Palace this season. Just one clean sheet, but it has been a tricky start to the season for them in where they've faced Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City and Chelsea. So bear in mind that things should improve under Patrick Vieira in the next upcoming games. Leicester, Wolves, Everton, Southampton, West Ham and Nottingham Forest sees them up to that World Cup break, and he carries plenty of goal threat from set pieces as well. At 4.3 million, he's a really easy player to get in your team, and it releases funds to do a lot of things further forward. A lot of managers wanting to get funds out of their defence and bring them into the midfield and forward lines. In midfield, the time has now come for Jarrod Bowen. It had been a steady start to the season for him. No attacking returns before the international break. 2 goals and an assist in 2 games. Since then, we know now he is definitely first choice penalty taker. He had 4 shots in the box in game week 10 and 2 big chances, and he was top for expected goal involvement with 1.6. All of these stats, by the way, powered by Fantasy Football Hub, and you can click the link in the description to save 30% off your membership. Bowen's price is increasing, his ownership's increasing, he's in just over 5% of teams now. Southampton away is a really attractive fixture in game week 11. Remember, Southampton are the only Premier League side this season that have not kept a clean sheet so far, so maybe we could see even more attacking returns from Bowen in that game. The final name in my differentials up top is Dominic Solanke. He is gathering a little bit of momentum. He's a player I wish I'd saw Mitrovic for last week, given that we saw him get 2 assists against Leicester. That takes him up to 1 goal, 3 assists for the season. Bournemouth have really struggled for goals this season, admittedly, but again have had tough fixtures. They've faced Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool in their opening period of games, but the fixtures are certainly looking good up until the World Cup break with Fulham, Southampton, West Ham, Spurs, Leeds and Everton. We know Solanke is the talisman of the team. He is a 90-minute man. He's on penalties. 5.7 million is a really attractive price point for him right now. So again, if you're looking for a forward, even if you don't want to play him every week, even if you want to use him as a bench player some weeks, he's cheap enough to have on your bench as well if you want to look to maybe move to a 3-5-2 formation with Solanke as your first sub. Looking at my team of the week then for game week 11, and I've tripled up on Manchester City against Liverpool away. Do not look at that fixture and think that on paper it is a tough one, because the way Liverpool are defending right now and the way Man City are attacking, it should be a straightforward game for them. Remember, Liverpool have kept just 2 clean sheets this season. They've conceded 3 goals in their last 2 games against Brighton and Arsenal. Man City are a much stiffer test than that, and Trent is out and Matip is out, so it's really going to suit the Man City players. So I've got a treble up of Haaland, Foden and Cancelo in here. Obviously with Haaland as captain, he is just a permanent captain in our teams now. I've also picked out the Arsenal assets for their trip away to Leeds, tripling up on the attack here with Gabriel Jesus, Saka and Martinelli, players that are in form at the moment. I mean, since I sold Gabriel Jesus, he's been in a habit of returning and attacking return in every game. 2 goals and an assist in his last 3, and Saka and Martinelli have been doing even better than that. 2 goals and 2 assists for Saka in the last 3 games, and 2 goals and 1 assist for Martinelli in that same period. I think they can do very well against that Leeds defence. Looking elsewhere, Harry Kane has snuck in, given his current form, and Spurs have got a really nice fixture this weekend at home to Everton. Matt Doherty has also got a late call-up after the injury to Reece James. I think he could do quite well in there as well. And Kepa Arrizabalaga has got a start as well for this team. Hopefully he carries on being first choice for Chelsea away to Aston Villa. Kieran Trippier, I've already spoken about him in today's video and what he can provide from an attacking perspective against Manchester United. And the final name on the team sheet is Will Zaha, who just happens to be a very good replacement for Luis Diaz. When it comes to Diaz replacements though, here is my final shortlist. Best replacement, as I mentioned already, would be Phil Foden, provided that you've not already trebled up on that Manchester City side already. Don't be put off by the Liverpool fixture this weekend. Don't be put off by the blank either, because he is a must-have in FPL right now. If you are already tripled up on the Man City defence though, there are other ways you can go. Jared Bowen, I've spoken about him already in today's video as well. He's looked really fantastic for West Ham over the last couple of games, and we know that he's a confidence player. When he went on a hot streak last season, it never seemed to end. So now that he's in among the goals and he's on penalties as well, which he didn't have last season, I could see him capable of producing a really big tally of goals and assists this season. The final name in the frame is Leicester's James Maddison. He managed to get that sensational return against Nottingham Forest just over a week ago. Then he frustrated us by blanking against Bournemouth, but we do need to bear in mind that he's still got 7 attacking returns in 8 starts this season, 23 attacking returns last season. Leicester have not been playing well. They are on the up now, and the next few games look really exciting for them. Crystal Palace, Leeds and Wolves. And, you know, we can be encouraged by the fact that Maddison's been playing 90 minutes on a lot of occasions this season, so hopefully he's a player that will manage to cope with the quick turnaround of games within the next week. Remember, Leicester haven't had that busy European schedule like Manchester City and West Ham. So in terms of security of minutes when we really need it in blank game week 12, Maddison could be the safest pick of them all. Let me know in the comments then who is going to be your Luis Diaz replacement for FPL Gameweek 11. If you've enjoyed this preview, smash that like button. Help me get to 500 likes and 15,000 subscribers. Very close to doing that, so all of your support on this one is really appreciated. I'll be back with the live stream on Friday at midday, so hit that notify button to ensure you know when I go live to join me in that one. It is a Friday deadline this week. Good luck for FPL Game Week 11.